Hey guys, Brandon here with Berserker Offroad, and next week I have a fun adventure planned with some members of E3 Offroad. We're going down to southwest Colorado to explore the San Juan Mountains. Now, even though it is mid-June, surprisingly, a lot of the popular passes are still closed from snowpack. But you know what? There are plenty of areas to go and explore, and we're going to make the best of it. Now, for those of you that did not know, I did recently move to Colorado. I live somewhere around here. I'm not getting too specific, but I love it here. It's awesome. So much to do between the forest roads, the hiking, mountain biking, the gorgeous vistas, the clean mountain air, except for when there's forest fires. But anyway, I'm loving it here. Now, the reason for this video is I'm using a lot of new gear on this upcoming trip. And I want to share that with you before I go in case you have any questions on that I can be sure to answer while I'm on the trip, or if you have any tips before I use that gear so I can incorporate that into my trip. And once I come back, I'll put together a couple of videos and share my experiences with you. But, a lot of this stuff, it's really to help facilitate a change in the type of adventure travel I'm doing. And this is kind of a trial run for that, just to see how it all works together. So let's get into the new gear. The first piece of new gear in my camping setup is this portable power station from AllPowers. It features a 400 amp hour battery pack with 4 AC outlets and various flavors of USB ports, and these two 200 watt solar panels, so quite a bit of power. Now, there's something extra I need to power on my camping trips, and I was in the market for a little extra, juice and some more solar panels, and AllPowers, they happened to reach out to me, and so they did sponsor this setup to me. Now, later this summer, after I've had several trips with this unit, I will release a video with more specs on this and how well this works for me, or if it didn't work. So just know that's in the works. But for now, the main thing to know is that I've got more power to work with because I have something special I need to power. Starlink is the second piece of gear I'm testing on this trip. Now, I work in internet marketing, which means I can work from anywhere, and I want to. I'm pretty tired of being in my office, in my standing desk all day. I want to get out and see more and do more and experience things and cut down on the time spent traveling to those places. I just want to be there. And this, as far as I can tell, will give me that freedom. And so that's why I have this battery pack, because I need to power a lot of things like Starlink, charge my laptop, my camera, also potentially run a fridge if I'm in camp for an extended period of time. So a lot of new things that I'm introducing on this trip, but ultimately I want to test, can I work remotely effectively? A hunch I have is I'm going to be too distracted to want to sit there. I have a feeling I'm going to be online a few hours in the morning and the evening, and then the whole day in between I'm going to be out doing some cool things. But this would be a good just test, a good run through. And once I'm done, absolutely, I'm going to share my results with you. If it's effective, if I have any problems, any downtime, if it cuts out, if I can't connect, or if the battery pack doesn't have enough power, if I needed more juice, all those things. I want to figure all that out this week, and I'm looking forward to trying that out and then sharing that with you. I've also changed my production setup. This is shot on a Sony a7 IV, a full frame camera. And I've noticed I've been liking the look of anamorphic lenses in a lot of classic films, and that's why I've been shooting with anamorphic lenses recently, and I really like that, but it is a somewhat challenging workflow. Now, anamorphic lenses, they record a wide image, and then it's actually squeezed onto the image sensor. And so what you recorded, it actually looks kind of distorted, and you have to de-squeeze it in post. And these lenses, these are from Sirui. I don't know how you pronounce that, but these have a 1.6 squeeze factor. So then in post, I have to de-squeeze the image. And that's why even if you're viewing this on a wide screen, you still have those black bars at the top and the bottom of this video. It's because of that aspect ratio. It's not 16:9, it's quite wider than that. And these lenses, like I said, they are a challenge to shoot with because they are fully manual lenses. If there is any kind of rotation on the lenses, like if the camera has some wobble to it, then that squeeze adds in some weird distortions, and so I have to be quite level with my shots. And they are full manual lenses. So they have manual focus and manual exposure, no automatic, shooting with these lenses. And then to contrast that, I have here a kit lens that came with the camera. This is a 28 to 70 millimeter lens, so it is a zoom lens, but it also has autofocus, auto exposure, and built-in image stabilization. So if I'm doing run and gun stuff, just holding the camera, the image is still quite steady. And then just to give myself a fighting chance with this wide aspect ratio when I'm shooting gimbal work, because one thing that is challenging with these lenses is the headroom. In fact, this is probably the 6th or 7th time I've had to shoot this shot right here because I can't get the headroom right with the framing. So on my gimbal work, I have this Sony 14 millimeter wide angle lens that I'll use when I'm shooting with the gimbal, and then in post I will reframe that shot to fit the right framing. Now, the anamorphic lenses, they have quite a nice cinematic look to them. They have a little bit of lens distortion, some lens breathing when you change the focus on it, just some nice characteristics that is not very clinical like some of the sharper, regular lenses you see today. Now, I have 2 focal lengths for my anamorphic lenses. This is shot with a 35 millimeter, and then I have a 100 millimeter, and I will likely be, purchasing other focal lengths as budget allows. But there's just some really gorgeous shots. So as you can see, they're beautiful shots. They're just something different, and I do like that quality. And so I will be shooting more with anamorphic lenses, despite the challenges with shooting with them, because they do force me to slow down, focus on my shots. I need to be careful when I'm changing lenses so I don't get the sensor dirty. That happens quite often out in the field. You've got the dirty rigs and dust in the air, and so you have to keep the sensor clean. So I do have to mitigate that. But overall, I think it's worth it just to get these gorgeous shots. So that's the new gear I'm using on this week's trip. That new power station and Starlink, and ultimately it's those systems I'm putting together so I can work towards my ultimate goal of working remotely more often. I want to travel more. I want to be outside and just enjoying nature. And yes, that means sometimes I do still have to work to pay for things. And if I can work outside, then hey, great. And so this week will be a great run through for those systems to see how well they work together, if there are any troubles or problems with them. And so if you have any questions or feedback or tips, let me know in the comments before I go, and I'll do my best to work on those while I'm gone. And then as far as my camera gear, I'm excited to use these new lenses as well, because I like increasing the production value of the content that I produce. This channel, it's a hobby of mine. I'm not a slave to the daily grind or the algorithm. I have the freedom to do the types of videos and content that I want to do. And part of that is slowing down, taking my time, and just getting some gorgeous shots and sharing that with you. So if you're still with me, I appreciate you watching. And again, any feedback you have on the gear, any questions you have, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the trail.